Welcome to a visual arts community just for teachers like you, elementary art teachers. I'm Sarah Rising, the moderator for this group. And in this webinar, it's going to be focusing on art room methodologies. This is the second in a three-part series where we'll talking about art in the art room. When I composed all of this information, I realized that the information in part 2 was very long. So part 2 is broken down into 2 parts. A little confusing, but hopefully you'll follow along. Take a few minutes to watch the video and participate in the discussions. Make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any of the fun, and share your ideas. At the end, I will also include a link to the PowerPoint version of this presentation. What you can do with that is click on the links for the videos that you can watch at your leisure. And I've also included some links to documents that you could use in your classroom. All right, here we go with part 1, talking about art with your students. I'd like to start by sharing this video. I'm not sure if you've ever seen this series, but it is kids explaining art to experts, and the experts have to guess the art that the kids are talking about. And I'll just share a short clip from this one. See if you can relate.
Hi, my name is Alexa and I'm 5 years old and my favorite color is blue.
Hello. Hi, Alexa. Tell us exactly what you can see.
It looks like the old man and the old lady, and the lady looks mad at the man just looks like... Maybe she's angry that he didn't rake the farm, and she's like, hey, rake the farm already. You want to have more vegetables.
Is it American Gothic by Grant Wood?
Yes.
If you've ever talked with your students about art, maybe it went something like that. But what I hope to do with you in these next 2 webinars is to get us thinking about some ideas for how we can improve the visual literacy in our classrooms and get kids talking and writing about their art, as well as talking about the art with others. It all revolves around developing that vocabulary and really just spending the time to get kids not only making art in the art room, but talking about art. What we're going to talk about in the first part of this series is artist statements and enduring understanding and essential questions. And then in part 2 of the language of art, we'll cover student reflection and art discussion. The importance of literacy in art is it helps our students develop as a reader, a writer, a speaker, and a listener. We can get them to engage in art, and they can write and they can speak, they can listen. They can also evaluate works of art through discussion and speculating about mood, themes, and the intentions of those who created the art. And we also need to encourage them to use the appropriate terminology. So that's where the vocabulary component of this comes in. Artist statements are ways to get into the heads of our young artists and find out exactly what they're thinking when they're making their art. So what I've got here, just in general, we all know that an artist statement is a tool for student artists to articulate what their work is about, what they're learning, and how they value the creative process. I think it's a great opportunity for us to reflect and assess the learning that goes on in the classroom. I've also included this little cartoon. Let me move myself so you can see that there. Gotta love a little Calvin and Hobbes. What I've included on this page are a couple of artist statements that you can use in the classroom. I've divided them into K through 1 and 2nd through 5th grade. At the end of the presentation, if you click on the PowerPoint, there is a link associated with these that will take you to the Google document, and you can edit it. You'll just have to make your own copy and edit as needed, and then change the verbiage however it works. I've created this document to fit so there's 2 up on a page. And the idea here where it works best is keeping these in a basket, getting kids in a routine So that when their art is done, the last thing that they do is create the artist statements. I've included some resources that talk about how to do this. This was a slide presentation I found, and I've cited the author here. She's included a guide for making an artist statements, and then there's a couple of different examples on here of student artist statements. The checklist is also really helpful, that talks to the kids about and reminds the kids what they need to include in that statement. And these are super easy to make, and you can use them to fit the needs of your particular classroom. Resources for writing artist statements. This is a great link for how to communicate complex ideas. I'm not going to go over it with us in this presentation. I'll let you come back to this and go over it at your leisure. And then student artist statements. This is a teacher who has posted in a blog about how to get your students to generate these artist statements. Both of them talk about using word banks and keeping a series of phrases on hand to get the kids in the habit of writing artist statements. And then once they do it repeatedly, it becomes second nature. In the beginning, I find it a little difficult with the younger kids, but as they get older and more experienced with it, like I said, becomes second nature. Going on to the enduring understanding and essential questions, all things we learned about writing lesson plans in college. And I'm just going to touch on this a little bit just as a reminder of what they are. Like the processes that serve as guides to help students complete the artistic process. So within our standards, creating, performing, responding, and connecting, these essential questions and enduring understandings offer pathways where artistic work is accomplished. Revisiting essential questions, we often, and I am just as guilty as this as the next person, we often tell our students what they need to learn instead of guiding students with questions. Essential questions drive the authentic learning, and they engage and motivate students. And they give you a reason for why you're doing this. Essential questions are open-ended. They don't have a single or a final correct answer. They promote discussion and debate, and they call for higher order thinking, such as analysis, inference, evaluation, and prediction, all things that we're striving to do with our kids in our 21st century learning. There are 3 great reads that I've included here for you all. The Writing Enduring Understanding. This was a teacher training, but I found it useful, even though it is not focused on art, but it helps to refresh us on how to write enduring understandings. Essential questions, again, another reminder. They're short videos, a couple minutes long. And then this blog, Mr. Odom's art class, he has a whole long list of essential questions. And I find these helpful to work with. Gives us a little bit of a starting point, but it also helps us to do a little backwards planning so we know where we're going with these plans. That is it for part 1. So remember, you've got the links to both the documents and the videos. Go back and watch those. And if you wouldn't mind, share your thoughts on artist statements in the art room. How are you using them? How are your kids responding to them? And if you have any tips to share with the group, I'd love to hear what you have. So would the rest of us. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. See ya.